5 unusual signs you're healing faster than you realize. You know that feeling when you've been working on yourself for months, maybe even years, and you look in the mirror wondering if anything's actually changed? You're doing the therapy sessions, reading the self-help books, practicing mindfulness, and yet somehow you still feel like you're stuck in the same place. Here's the truth that might surprise you. You're probably healing faster and more deeply than you realize. The problem isn't your progress. It's that nobody ever taught you what real healing actually looks like. We've been sold a lie about healing. We expect it to feel like a Disney movie transformation, complete with a soundtrack and a moment of sudden clarity where everything clicks into place. We think we'll wake up one morning feeling completely different, lighter, free from all our old patterns. But that's not how the human mind and body actually work. Real healing is quieter, stranger, and often disguises itself as something else entirely. The signs of deep healing aren't always obvious. In fact, some of the most powerful indicators that you're transforming feel uncomfortable, confusing, or even like you're going backward. Your brain and nervous system are rewiring themselves in ways that don't always feel good in the moment. Think of it like renovating a house. Before it looks beautiful, there's dust everywhere, walls are torn down, and everything feels chaotic. Healing works the same way. So let's talk about the 5 unusual signs that you're actually healing faster than you think. These aren't the obvious ones like feeling happier or having more energy. These are the subtle, often misunderstood signals that profound change is happening beneath the surface. 1. You're suddenly exhausted for no clear reason. This might sound backward, but one of the strongest signs of deep healing is unexpected fatigue. You're getting enough sleep, eating well, but you feel tired in a way that rest doesn't seem to fix. Before you panic, understand what's happening. Your nervous system is finally relaxing. For years, you've likely been running on stress hormones. Anxiety, hypervigilance, and survival mode kept you wired and alert. Your body was in a constant state of low-level emergency. You might not have even noticed because it became your normal. Now that you're healing, your system is finally downshifting out of that chronic activation. It's like you've been driving with your foot on the gas pedal for so long that when you finally take it off, you notice how exhausted you actually are. This fatigue is your body catching up on years of accumulated stress. It's processing old emotions, releasing tension held deep in your muscles, and literally rewiring neural pathways. All of this takes enormous energy. The tiredness isn't a sign something is wrong. It's a sign something is finally right. Your body trusts you enough now to let down its guard and do the deep repair work it's been postponing. If you're experiencing this, honor it. Rest isn't lazy. It's how healing happens. Your system is doing construction work while you sleep and during those quiet moments. The exhaustion will pass, and when it does, you'll likely feel more genuinely energized than you have in years. 2. Old memories are surfacing out of nowhere. You're driving to work or washing dishes, and suddenly a memory from 15 years ago pops into your mind with startling clarity. Maybe it's something you haven't thought about in decades. Maybe it's a moment that didn't seem significant at the time. These random memories aren't random at all. They're a sign your psyche is ready to process what it couldn't handle before. Our minds are incredibly protective. When we experience something painful or overwhelming, especially in childhood, our brain essentially files it away in a locked drawer. We'll deal with this later when we're stronger. It decides. Now that you're healing and building more emotional capacity, your unconscious mind is opening those drawers. It's saying, okay, we're ready now. Let's look at this. These surfacing memories often come with feelings attached, sometimes feelings that seem too big for the actual memory. That's because you're not just remembering the event. You're finally processing the emotions you had to suppress at the time. A memory of a seemingly small moment from 3rd grade might carry the weight of loneliness you couldn't express as a child. A random memory of your teenage years might hold anxiety you had to push down to survive. This is integration work happening automatically. Your brain is connecting dots, making sense of your story, and healing wounds you didn't even know needed healing. If this is happening to you, you're not losing your mind. You're finding it. Let the memories come. You don't have to do anything with them except acknowledge they're there. The act of remembering with your adult awareness is itself healing. 3. You're getting angry or setting boundaries that feel out of character. If you're suddenly feeling anger you've never let yourself feel before, or if you're saying no to things you would have automatically said yes to in the past, congratulations. This is one of the most powerful signs of healing, especially if you spend your life being the peaceful one, the accommodating one, the person who never causes problems. Anger gets a bad reputation, but healthy anger is actually protective. It tells you when your boundaries have been crossed. For people pleasers, codependents, and those who learned early that their needs don't matter, anger was too dangerous to feel. So you learn to skip right over it and go straight to understanding, forgiveness, or self-blame. You became so good at seeing everyone else's perspective that you completely lost touch with your own. Now you're healing, and anger is coming back online. This doesn't mean you're becoming an angry or difficult person. It means you're developing a healthy relationship with your own limits and needs. That out-of-character boundary you just set, that's actually your true character emerging. The old version that said yes to everything wasn't the real you. It was a survival adaptation. The people in your life might be confused by this change. They were comfortable with a version of you that didn't have boundaries. That's okay. Their discomfort with your growth isn't your responsibility to manage. Your job is to keep honoring what feels right in your body, even when it feels scary. Every boundary you set rewires your brain to understand that you matter. That's healing in action. For you're feeling grief without a clear loss, crying for no obvious reason, feeling waves of sadness when things are actually going well in your life. This might be the most misunderstood sign of healing. We think healing should feel good, so when grief shows up, we assume something is wrong. But grief during healing isn't a sign of regression. It's a sign of release. As you heal, you're not just building a new version of yourself. You're also mourning the old one. You're grieving the years you lost to anxiety, depression, or trauma. You're feeling sadness for the child you were who didn't get what they needed. You're mourning the relationships you stayed in too long, the opportunities you missed because you were too scared, the parts of yourself you had to hide to feel safe. This grief is also about letting go of old coping mechanisms. That armor you wore for protection, it kept you safe, but it also kept you isolated. As you shed it, there's grief for protection you're losing, even though you don't need it anymore. There's grief in realizing that the strategies that helped you survive are the same ones preventing you from truly living. Allow the grief. Don't rush through it or try to logic yourself out of it. Grief is how we metabolize loss and make room for something new. Every tear is releasing old pain stored in your body. The grief will come in waves, and then it will pass, leaving you lighter. On the other side of this grief is a version of you that's more whole, more present, and more alive. 5. You're bored by drama you used to find compelling. This one is subtle but profound. You're scrolling through social media, and that post that would have hooked you into a spiral of comparison or anxiety just makes you scroll past. A friend starts gossiping about someone, and you realize you genuinely don't care. The chaos that used to pull you in now feels exhausting and uninteresting. This shift happens because your nervous system is regulating. When you're in chronic stress or unhealed trauma, your body becomes addicted to intensity. Drama, conflict, and chaos feel familiar because they match your internal state. You might not have even realized you were drawn to it, but your system recognized those high-intensity situations as home because they match the activation level you were carrying inside. As you heal, your baseline nervous system state becomes calmer. Now, the drama doesn't match your internal experience anymore, so it feels foreign and uncomfortable rather than compelling. You're literally losing your taste for chaos because you're no longer living in it internally. This also shows up in your tolerance for unhealthy relationships. That person who used to fascinate you with their unpredictability now just seems exhausting. The push-pull dynamic that felt like passion now clearly looks like dysfunction. You're not judging them or yourself harshly for the past. You're just noticing that what once felt normal now feels like something you've outgrown. If you're experiencing this, you've reached a beautiful milestone. You're no longer available for relationships and situations that require you to abandon yourself. Your boredom with drama isn't apathy. It's discernment. It's your healed self recognizing what genuine peace feels like and choosing it over familiar intensity. The truth about healing. Healing isn't linear, and it rarely looks the way we expect. These 5 signs, unexpected fatigue, surfacing memories, new anger and boundaries, waves of grief, and disinterest in drama, might feel confusing or even concerning when they happen, but they're actually markers of profound transformation. Your brain is rewiring. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your sense of self is expanding to include parts you had to exile for survival. This is deep work, and it's happening even when you can't see it or feel it clearly. So the next time you wonder if you're making any progress, look for these unusual signs. They're proof that beneath the surface, everything is changing. You're not stuck. You're not broken. You're healing faster than you realize, one quiet transformation at a time.